Hey guys, thank you for watching this video, or start watching this video. Maybe it's really boring in the beginning and then it might get some pace. This is a sample project for a college student who's graduating um, the diploma course of networking. Now they have multiple options to do their lab or do their project in. The one option is the Cisco Core Technologies, which we teach in Montreal College. The other one we teach is the Microsoft Windows part. So they can also have Microsoft server topologies and build something on top of that. Or they can have something in cloud infrastructure using VMware, E6i, something like that. And on top, they can do they can mix all of these together and build something up. So in this topology, because I teach usually Cisco stuff and Microsoft stuff, and one of my students wants to do a Cisco kind of a project. Not one, actually most of the groups are trying to do that, and they are confused that what kind of topology they should build, what can be easier to deploy. Now when you are doing a project, it doesn't matter what you have learned in the class, because project time, the 6 months which you get, is actually to learn more, right? Learn the newest technology, learn what's happening in the real production environment by finding out with your friends, teachers, so that or searching on the internet that how things are working. Now you will find that on the internet it is pretty hard to find some kind of project topologies, because usually what I have seen on YouTube is that any teacher, they try to teach you the technology, and when they try to teach you technology, they want you to keep it simple so that you can understand that, right? So that is fine from their perspective. My idea is a bit different. I wanted to teach you how you can implement something which you can find in a real environment being implemented, right? Or something similar to that. So if you can do this, then understanding any other thing will be easier for you. So I sorted out few things that we can do on this lab topology, which are, if you look at it, which are VLANs, HSRP, default route, NAT, BGP, DMVPN, EHRP, router distribution, access list, access port, trunk port. So we're gonna do a lot of things, right? And that's what I want you guys to understand, that you can do a lot of things when you are trying to do a lab. And if you look at this, beside a couple of things, everything you should have learned in the class, right? So the things which I'm going to start to configure will be easier from the first get-go than the rest of the thing, right? So let me see what I can do here. Let me put it on the other screen so that I can show you guys what is the base config I usually do on my laptop, on my Cisco routers. Okay, and let me open a notepad as well so that you guys can see that too. So this is the initial config which I usually do on all my routers, right? So which has enabling it, putting into config key, disabling service timestamp. This is only for the lab purpose. Okay, so these all are for the lab purposes, and then I put the hostname at the end. So if I copy it, and if I do no on each one of the routers, so let's do it. You can send the command, you can do no like this, whatever you feel like doing, you can do that, right? And then we will go very systematically, one by one site, one setup at a time, and then we'll make sure that we have the communication between all the branches and the head office, right? That's the idea. I put some test pieces here which literally you don't need, but I just have it there for the sake of the topology. So First, let's discuss what the topology is all about. So the upper portion which you see here, you can see I have 3 headquarter routers, right? So I have 2 headquarter routers which are connected to the ISP, right? And then they have 1 LAN site connected, and they are the default gateway for my internal VLANs, right? And then I have another headquarter router which is connected to another branch office. You can think of this as a macro Ethernet connection to the branch office. And this is because it's directly, and this if I have another macro Ethernet site, I will connect to this router, not to this router, because these are internet edge routers. So I'm not going to do this, do the connectivity on this one, right? So in the production environment, that's where people segregate things, right? So they segregate, and then they put the firewall in. So I haven't put the firewall in yet, right? So I can put firewall in. So maybe later on, if students want, I will integrate firewall in it. Maybe Cisco ASA, maybe Cisco FTD, whatever. Maybe Checkpoint, maybe Palo Alto. You can run whatever you want to run on this one. That brings me to another point. What you invest on? You invest on yourself. You invest on your education. You invest on your equipment, so that you can do practice, because practice makes you perfect. Practice takes you a step ahead of your colleagues who are not practicing, who stays behind you. Okay, so practice is most important thing. If you cannot afford to buy a decent laptop or desktop, I prefer desktop, although this topology right now is running on laptop. You can have you can rent PNet servers or EVNG servers, and I honestly I prefer doing labs on PNet and Eve rather than on Packet Trace and other, because here you can integrate many more vendors. You can integrate more stuff. You can do more stuff here. So it's all about learning process, right? So I'm not going to teach everything in one class or in one video, although this video is going to be long. Okay, so I want you guys to be very patient, and I want you guys to listen, and I want you guys to understand. Most of the things you have already learned in the class will be a review to you. I don't know who taught you this is in your session, but whoever, right? So you must have done all these things. So let's continue. So what we will do, we will first make sure that we have our internal communication happening in the head office, right? So this is our first portion. But before doing that, what I will do, I'll make sure that all my routers has base config, and I will say don't show this again, and I will say paste. Okay, so and then I will put this one as headquarter 1. Okay, this one is headquarter 2. This one is okay, headquarter 3. Then this one, because this remains same for both routers and switches. So this is this is ISP 1, and this is ISP 2. Okay, and then this is, so I would say branch 1. So I will just put BR1, that will suffice, and this will be branch 2. Okay, so let's continue. By looking at it, you'll say, oh my god, this is huge topology, but you will see the configuration wise it's not going to be that big, right? Sorry, did I do anything? Okay, sorry, I didn't paste it. So let's paste it. So this is branch 4 actually, and then we have switch. So I will put switch. Actually, I will put HQ switch. So this is headquarters. So you can have multiple switch, right? So this is just the and the PC name should be TP1. So test PC1 in 10. So VLAN 10. Test PC1 in VLAN 10. And yeah, for now that is it. That's fine. Let's go to test PC2. We can do DHCP. I can add DHCP to that. Right? If you guys want, I can add that. I don't feel like that. Usually routers do not do DHCP. DHCP should have a server. So if I would have added a server in this one, that would be much better option. So that is the reason I'm not going to put it here. TP2-20, oops, -20, and then save it. Okay, so I haven't put the IP address anywhere. I can put the IP address here, so let's put an IP address here. Let's put an IP address of 100 on these ones, right? So on both VLANs, let's put an IP address of 100. So I will do IP 10.1.10.100 255, or actually I would say /24, and the default gateway which I'm going to put, because I'm going to run HSRP here, right? And on top of that, let's put one more thing here which I'm missing, which is VLAN. How is it that? I forgot. It should be here, VLAN 30, which should be 10.1.30.0/24. Okay, so that I made a mistake. I just wanted to make mine. Not that good in this. Okay, so VLAN 30 will be on this side, 1020 on these sides. So headquarter 3 will be VLAN 30. Yeah, just for the sake of this lab. Okay, let's continue. So because I'm going to do HSRP, so my default gateway will be 10.1.10.254 for the VLAN 10. So this is for that guy, and I will save it. And for this guy, I will say 10.1.20.100/24 and 10.1.20.54 is the area. So this is what we have done so far. We have done all the configuration here. We haven't write things down. So what I will do is that I will do and write on each and every one of them. Okay. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I wanted to save my configuration, so that later on, even if something happens to my PC, I can come back. Okay, so that's the idea. So let's see how far I can do. So I can do switch 1. Did I do that? Okay. So that is already saved. So what I will do, I will go on to the startup configs, and in the default config I will set as active. It's already active. So in setup node, I will just export my configs. So right now it's exporting all my configs, and all my config will go. Say done. It should say done here. Export all done. So all my configs should have gone into this startup config. If I look at HQ1, you see all my things are there. Nothing else is there right now, right? So if I go to HQ3, you'll see everything is there. If I go to my IP is there, right? So everything is saved. Good. I can change all, so that is fine. So now everything is fine. I'm good. I can move forward, right? So I know that everything is saved. So let's go to the switch part and make sure that everything is in proper VLAN, and if it needs to be access port or trunk port, we define it here, okay, on the switch. So let's go on to the switch and make sure our switch is properly configured. So starting with PC1 or TP1, we can say that this is part of the so it's part of the VLAN 10. So we should have to create VLANs. So I'm going to create VLANs, VLAN 20 and VLAN 30. Now I have 3 VLANs. So I'm going to create, I'm going to put this port into VLAN 10. And I can also say description, right? You can always, usually when we are doing this, we say that this is TP1 in 10 actually, and then we can go to interface 0 by 3, and we can say switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 20, and we can say 2-20, right? The same way we can go on to the 1/0, and we can say switch port mode access VLAN 30, and we can put a description that macro Ethernet router. Okay, so this is going to macro Ethernet router, and then we can go on to 0/0, and we need to put this one at trunk, so we will say switch port trunk encapsulation dot and switch port mode trunk, right? And if you want to disable, we'll say DTP will say switch port no negotiate. Okay, so that is for this guy, and then we'll do one for another one. So we'll say switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1q switch port mode trunk switch port no negotiate. Okay, and then we'll put the description. I missed the description in the previous one, so I'll put the description. This is headquarter or internet edge router 2. Okay, and for this guy we'll say same description but router 1, because this is internet edge router, right? Going to the internet, because they are connected to the ISP. Now that is fine for this switch. We do not need to do anything else on this guy, so we are fine in here. So our switch configuration so far is done. The switch knows all 3 VLANs. The switch knows that headquarter 1 and headquarter 2 routers are actually going to be the supporting the trunk, so they will be using inter VLAN routing, and they will also be doing the DMVPN to the branch offices, right, which are connected via internet. And this guy is for macro Ethernet branch offices, which can be many, and I'm just showing one. You can have another branch number 5 here as well, right? So that's not a problem. So let's continue to our journey, right? So first thing, what we'll do, we'll make sure that our headquarters site, right, is built properly. So far these 2 guys are already set up. Switch is already set up. So let's set up this headquarters site, 3 router, but towards only internal part, right? Not the external part. I'm not doing the external part right now, so I'm just gonna do the internal part. Okay, so to do that, we'll move to this guy, and we'll say Ethernet 0/0, and we'll say IP address 10.1.33, and we'll say no shut, right? And we can put a description there, not put a description there, it's up to you. Or you can say description HQ LAN, right? Headquarter LAN. So it's going towards headquarter LAN. Does it need any routing protocol or anything? No, right? Because doesn't need any static routing. We will put a routing protocol there, but we are not doing it right now. We are not talking about the protocols yet. Okay, so let's move on to headquarter 1, and now this will have 3 sub interfaces which will be communicating with this guy, and this guy. So let's continue. Interface Ethernet 0/1, and then we'll do no shut, and in this one we'll do interface Ethernet 0/1.10, and we'll do encapsulation .10 for VLAN 10, and then put the IP address 10.1.10.1. Okay, and we will be doing HSRP, so I'm going to set it up HSRP right in front. So standby 10, IP is 10.1.10.254, because that's what we put there, if you guys remember, right? So okay, so that is done. We will be making sure that this guy do preemption, and we will make sure that this guy will will remain the default gateway for this particular VLAN, VLAN 10, right? And then for the other part, for the other VLAN, we do not want him to be we want this guy to be a standby. Okay, so go to this guy and we say encapsulation.20. we put the IP address of 21.255.255.255.250. then we will do the same standby, this time 20, and we will do what we will do, standby 20 IP, right? IP. My mind just is shut. I'm tired. You can see the whole day was like this. We don't want we want preemption, but we do not want to change any priority here, so that is fine. We just put 1.30, right? And then we say .30, and we'll put the IP address 10.1.31. and that's it. We will not be doing any HSRP for this guy. Okay, so now I will write it down, right? And then you can see that what I have done. So this is what I have done so far. So let me just put it here so that you can see that. Okay, so we can see that we have configured 3 interfaces with 3 IPs, right? And if you look at show standby brief, you can see that 2 of them are actively running HSRP, and the state is active for both of them right now because we haven't done anything to the headquarter 2. So let's go do something for headquarter 2, and then we'll come back. Okay, so let's do that. Ethernet 0x1.10, encapsulation.10, IP address 10.1.10.2, 255.255.255.0. We will do the standby 10 IP, same IP, 10.1.10.254, is standby 10 preempt. We will not do anything else here. We will move on to 1/20, and we'll put the IP address here 10.1.22. And on here we will try to make this one the active router for VLAN 20. So we will do 20.2, and then we will do standby 20 IP 10.1.20.254, and standby 20 preempt, and standby 20 priority 110, right? So we increase the priority here, and then we'll move on to 0x1.30, and we'll say encapsulation.30, IP address 10.132.255.5.0, and then we will go into the main interface and do no shut. And this is the total configuration we need to do now. Now you can see that it went to. So if we look at show IP interface brief, we have, and if I do exclude assigned, so we can see that we have 3 IPs connected. And if we do show standby brief, we can see that right now this is active. It's still in speak mode, so they are negotiating. So you can see the priority on 20 is active now, and the other one goes to standby. So this guy is active for VLAN 20, and if you go here, you know that this guy is active for VLAN 10. Okay, so this is how I wanted to set it up, and this is how it's being set it up. Okay, we might have some issues later. You need to fix few things. You can add security on top of that, because security is one of your courses, right? So you can add security like the password authentication on HSRP, the password authentication on other stuff, the protocols and all that stuff. You can put that too. But to keep it simple, I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so now in this case, if I go to the PC, and if I want to ping 10.1 2000, I am able to ping it, right? And who is my default gateway? My default gateway is router 1. So if I do trace, I think that's how it does the trace. So no, it does the whole trace. Trace route to 10, 1, 20, 100. Let's just trace 10, 1, 20, 100. Okay, so this is just trace. So you can see that it went to 10, 1, which is eventually this guy, and then it went to 10, 20.100. So it goes from here to here, right? Because this guy knows him already. So now it means that this guy, this PC can reach 10, 1, 33, which is my router, right? This guy can reach 33, that's for sure, but this router cannot reach this guy, right? Because this router is not set up with any route, right? Any route, there is no route in here. This guy cannot do, this guy cannot reply back, but this guy is receiving. So if you want to find out that, you can do debug IP ICMP, and now if I ping from here, you will see that this guy is receiving, right? So he's trying to send a response, but he cannot. Yes, that is receiving from here. So that is fine. So now we know that this is working, and we know exactly why it is not working, what needs to be fixed. Okay, so that is good. So now what we will do is that we will run OSPF between an inside headquarters, right? So we will run OSPF from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. So let's go to headquarters 1, and let's run OSPF. Okay, so router OSPF 1, right? And router ID is 1, and then we'll provide a network, and the network is 10, 1, 10, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.5, area 0. So I'm advertising 10 network. I will also advertise 20 network, and I will also advertise 30 network, right? So I'm advertising these 3 networks right now. I'm not advertising anything else. Okay, so I will say end, and I'll say right. So let's go on route number 2, and usually I will have the same kind of configuration here as well. So I will do route ID 0002, and then I'll do network 10.1.10.0.0.255 area 0. Then I'll do 20, and I will also do 30. So I have 30, right? So this is what we have. You will see that we have neighbor relationship between 1 and 2. Now I will go on 3, and I will say router OSPF 1. Router ID is 3, and network is 10.1.10. Sorry, not 10, 30.0, and this is also part of area 0. So now this guy will have a neighbor relationship, and this guy will know about VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, right? So if I do show IP route OSPF, give it a time. Okay, here we go. So now he knows about 10 and 20, and he knows that he can reach it from both 2 and both 1, right? So now we fix this problem, right? So now if I ping, it's ping, right? So this has been fixed by running OSPF between these 3 nodes. So now this portion is configured with the routing, and everybody is happy. Everybody's happy. Headquarters is working. Headquarters is up. I'm gonna stop it here, and instead of making one big video, I'm gonna put it into chunk so that you can watch it accordingly, right? So then in the next session we will try to connect this macro Ethernet. Thank you.